Why 99% of modern relationships fail. Hello everybody, and welcome to One Mail. In this video, I will discuss something we can all relate to, relationships. Specifically, why 99% of them seem to fail and how we can avoid those common pitfalls. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this in the future. In the year 2022, post-pandemic, the world is slowly moving towards a sense of normalcy in our everyday lives as it relates to human interactions. However, around us is what can only be described as chaos, with rising food prices, fuel prices, interest rates, and rumors of a world war. On the horizon, the average American is struggling to make ends meet. In this timeline, the average American cannot keep a roof over their head, let alone have enough money to eat a meal without worrying where the next will come from. We see massive foreclosures, the death of the stock market, the real estate market, and cryptocurrency, which plunged the citizens into hopelessness and fear. You would think that people would come together and form relationships to make life a little easier in such a world, but instead, we see a more significant division between the genders. Men are going on their paths, women on the streets, and online marketing themselves to the highest bidder. We know the opposite of how things should be and the steady erosion of relationships. It sounds horrifying. Just imagine what type of world it would be when the average man cannot get the middle woman, and instead of both parties coming together to face the tough times ahead, people would instead do bad all by themselves and struggle. What a world that would be, but wait, we're living in it now. This is the state of the real world. In today's world, relationships are like fathers. It's nice to have one, but it's not needed. As a result, we see fewer and fewer stable relationships that go the distance and become something that both people involved are proud to build. Instead, people treat relationships like a flat-out jokes. You see, a joke is something fantastic at the moment, but it becomes irrelevant and forgotten after the moment passes. Like some of you guys' past relationships, your ex was fun at that moment, but where is she now? Some of you don't even remember your ex's names or faces. That's how bad things are, so I say that to set this point up. When will you guys realize that relationships are an absolute disaster for most of you? It works out for some men, so I can't deny that, but the rest of you guys suck at relationships. Many of you guys should not be near a relationship with your track record of failure with women, and it's not just your fault because it takes two to tango. Let's look at how modern women have treated relationships, because it's atrocious that they have become the most unfit to be in relationships in the history of the United States, if not the world. I can't remember hearing one woman in the past 2 years say, I can't wait to find a husband and build a family together. I swear I haven't, but I heard, I don't need a man. I bring my sweet watery guts to the table, and you're not getting anything more than that. I'm strong and independent. I'm too young to settle down and get married. Men are trash. And the list goes on and on. So from my point of view, why would I get in a relationship when I'm never going to be enough, and she won't give me anything that I find valuable? Not only that, I've noticed that modern women have no problem serving a boss and going to their little jobs, but the moment I asked for a sandwich, it's like I asked that girl to bring me one of her kidneys. I'm not joking. And those girls were in their early 20s. So what hope do we have out here for men? If we build a relationship with a woman, none for most of us. It's damn near impossible to be with a woman who doesn't cheat or would betray us from the relationship until one or both of us die. And we haven't even touched on the monetized women and the writers. If you are curious about the dark side of women's monetization, you must check out Seeking Arrangements. What you guys will find over there will blow your mind. I can't talk much about it because of YouTube, but let's put it like this. Let's say you have a niece who is in college right now, and it's a bit difficult for her to get by with massive student loan debt and living expenses. So instead of seeking a part-time job, no pun intended, she decides to jump on a dating site called Seeking Arrangements. Now, remember she needed some money, but jumped on a dating website instead of looking for a job. I want you to put 2 and 2 together, and you'll figure out what the dark side is. That is what you guys are up against. That is the modern monetization of women that is happening right now in 2022. The girls on those sites will be your son's future wives and some of you guys' wives, and I don't want to hear no, not me. I'm going my way because some of you will be back in relationships now. I don't have a problem with that. Everyone is welcome to accept this message. My job is to arm you with the knowledge to make the best decision regarding women in relationships, but know that women are becoming sugar babies and prefer doing that rather than being with a broke guy or a guy at their level. The epidemic of careers has destroyed relationships, in my opinion, and for you guys who have no idea what a career means, it's the rooster carousel. Do you guys know how hard it is out in these streets to find a woman who isn't promiscuous or has more bodies than a morgue? My brothers, modern women don't care or value being virtuous anymore. It's like they are competing on who can get the most salami out in these streets. And let's be honest, nice guys are getting little to no sweet watery guts in today's marketplace. I see her with the guy who constantly breaks her heart. I see her with the so-called abusive guy who cheats on her. And I see her with the guy who was a broke Dusty. Do you know who I don't see her with? A good guy. Forget it. It's over for most of you. Just focus on yourself. Based on what I've seen with my own two eyes and the people around me, I can confidently say that 99% of all relationships fail. Yes, you heard that right. 99% of all relationships fail. Now I know that's a bold statement, and many of you don't believe me, so I will prove to you that damn near all relationships fail. I want you to get a book, a piece of paper, and a pen. Then write down the names of all the persons you have been with intimately or with no intercourse in your entire life. Write all their names down, add the total number of names on the paper, and write it down when you're finished. Next, draw a table with two columns. On top of the first column, write the words number of past partners. And on top of the second column, note the number of current partners. The final step is underneath the column that says the number of past partners. Write the original number you got for your previous relationships for the second column that says the current partner. You should write the number of partners you currently have for most people. For most people, you should have written down that you're in a relationship with 1 or 0 persons, and out of all those past relationships, you either ended up with the number 1 or 0. That is either a 100 or 99% failure rate. You went through all that pain and bez to either end up alone. I think we can go ahead and give up when the chances of being in a stable long-term relationship are 1% or less. Let's look at a Reddit story quickly to put the final nail in the coffin for you, Hope Strategists. Then I'll give you the 3 wrenching reasons why 99% of relationships fail. The title of this Reddit story is I'm Worried We're Heading Toward a Dead Bedroom. Intercourse with my husband has never been amazing, but it's usually fine before we get married. I knew what I was getting into and decided his other amazing qualities outweighed the boring guys. This sounds like she settled for this guy. It sounds like she was arriving at that age where women will start to be more aggressive with getting married and having that ring on their finger, and this guy was the only guy who would commit to her. May God save his soul if only he knew what she was saying about him behind his back. For the world to see this, marriage is over in the -5 years or less if only he knew he made one of the biggest mistakes in his life. Let's continue. We've been married for 5 years, and I am finding it harder and harder to want bedroom fun. It's not a libido problem. I very much want good intercourse, but at 11 p.m., when he burps, rolls over, and grabs a boob, I can't bring myself to say yes. So men, now she is starting to find faults with him that she previously overlooked to get the commitment, but now she knows she has him, and he's not going anywhere. Everything he does becomes a problem. This is what I like to call sleeping with the enemy. She has no love in her heart for this guy. I think he's only there to pay the bills, and the longer this relationship continues, the less sweet water he gets. Her guts are drier than my bank account for this guy at this point. It's a shame because he still has to provide. But she isn't obligated or wants to give him what he signed on the dotted line for. Let's continue. The lack of effort he puts into seduction is part of the problem. But when I've mentioned that I need a little more romance, he says he's trying but doesn't know how to do that. He gets frustrated and turned off by his loud farts. Guys, the problem is, she is looking for the passionate long strokes that somebody used to give her, but this guy isn't him, and it seems like he barely has any experience in bed, and he's probably bad in bed based on her story. Most guys are bad in bed, so I have to call out you guys who want to give your girl or wife the 5-stroke special and think that's going to be enough. No, you must go rounds if you want to come close to pleasing a woman. The roar and snore game isn't working for the long term or short term. If you don't get better in bed, women will talk about how bad you are in bed to their friends and on the internet. So, if you guys want repeat customers, you better blow the back out. Oh, and by the way, if you're not giving your girl any orgasms, go ahead and file for divorce or break up, because I guarantee that another man is making her bust and wet out the sheets, and his salami is probably bigger than yours. All those who favor this marriage ending in a divorce say I do. These are the stuff that married people go through but won't tell you and act like everything is perfect. If you want to roll the dice, the choice is yours. I will talk about one of the biggest problems guys face when dating, being too nice. A lot of guys think that they'll get the girl by being a nice guy, but that's not always the case. In fact, sometimes being too nice can have the opposite effect. So in this next video, I'm going to show you why women don't want Mr. Nice Guy and what you can do about it. Make sure to check it out if you want to know more.